Hi, I'm Craig and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. As always, thank you to everybody who's hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button now and make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you get notified when these videos get posted. Obviously, we're still in a holding pattern. Post 3570 was the last one we had on August 1st. And I can tell you right now, we have big stories coming out that we're going to cover here on the channel, including, like I said, what might be happening in California with this PG&E blackout, plus James Comey making these veiled threats possibly on Twitter. We're going to take a look at that and a whole bunch more. But before we get into that, I always encourage everyone, look, come back here, watch these videos, share them on your social media. If you guys notice, I'm sorry I haven't been posting a lot of videos lately, and that's simply because I have been very busy on the road. I'm actually here in Miami right now at Trump National. We just had the American Priority Conference. It was an amazing event. I have so much stuff to talk about with that. I'm going to go over that at the end of the episode. If you guys want to hear about what's been going on here, stick around to the end of the episode and I'll tell you all about it. But a whole bunch of cool stuff because I met so many great people. You guys probably, if you guys saw the live streams, you know who I met, you know who I'm talking about. So I definitely encourage you all to go watch these last videos, share them on your social media. We know the content suppression is real here on YouTube, and they are trying to shut down this channel. So think about it this way. We have a lot to cover, and if you're scratching your head, what is QAnon the Great Awakening? I'm encouraging you to watch this video and share this on your social media and get that to your friends and people you want to wake up, because it's an important video and it gives you a lot of the background as to what we're going to be talking about here in this video. Okay, so let's get into the first story. So now we have this big push for impeachment, and the Democrats are going 100 miles an hour. We knew all this was coming, right? We knew that President Trump, they would go after him right before the 2020 election, and this is a part of their effort to try to steal the election in 2020. See, they don't want to earn people's votes. What they would much rather do is use their power to go after the president in a clandestine fashion that is basically tantamount to a coup, insurrection, treason, whatever you want to call it, sedition. These people are attacking a duly elected president, and they're using the most underhanded, illegal means they can you could possibly imagine. And this talks about the whistleblowers and how all that's connected. Now, what we know is happening right now is Adam Schiff has come out with this whistleblower. Now, why was this important? Well, President Trump basically put a pin in that balloon and popped it as soon as it came out by releasing the transcript of the phone call that they were going to claim proved beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump was some Ukrainian agent now, which is you might want to remember the fact that Russia and Ukraine absolutely hate each other. So the fake news media wants you to believe that our president is a Russian agent who is also a Ukrainian agent, meaning he is a secret agent who's working for two countries which absolutely despise one another. So that's the story that they want you to believe. Now, you can read more about this, but this is just to give you an idea and kind of set the frame of what we're going to talk about here, which is this particular newly released information. Now, this all comes from Rudy Giuliani, who's actually working very hard to uncover this. So we know Hunter Biden went, and we know he went and worked in Ukraine for Burisma Holdings. Now, what is Burisma Holdings? It's the company that was under investigation by the same prosecutor, which Joe Biden went over and threatened if the Ukrainian president did not fire this said prosecutor, that they would withhold $1 billion in funding to that country. And eventually the prosecutor, Victor Shokin, was fired, and they were investigating Burisma, where Hunter Biden had been hired for $50,000 to $80,000 a month in order to give his advice on natural gas. Yeah, right. Nobody's believing it. We all know that this is all about bribery and corruption, and they were paying for play with Joe Biden. Now they're freaking out because we're exposing it. So I want to read this to you. This goes over a story that's been released and covered by multiple news networks, but we're going to just go over some of the facts, okay? Here are the facts, right, about what we know so far about Joe Biden and this newly found money. The Bidens allegedly bilked the Ukrainian government and its people out of $17.5 million, according to new documents Ukrainian officials and presidential lawyer Rudy Giuliani have begun to reveal. As documented again by One American News, Joe Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion from the Ukrainian government if they didn't fire a prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, who was investigating corruption tied to Burisma Holdings, a Ukrainian gas company that was paying Hunter Biden $50,000 to $80,000 per month, with some sources saying it was as high as $167,000 a month. Joe Biden made several trips to Ukraine, at least 6, during his final 2 years in office after Obama named him point man following Russia's theft of the Crimean territory. Joe Biden received close to $1 million in laundered funds, according to a Ukrainian member of parliament. Joe Biden may have broken U.S. law to help his son Hunter. In all, Hunter Biden received around $16.5 million in funds from Ukrainian entities that some are now calling a racketeering operation. Other Obama administration officials may have also been involved in bilking Ukraine, including a former U.S. ambassador. Ukrainian President Zelensky is pledging to form a joint Ukraine-U.S. prosecution team to go after corrupt pieces of you-know-what in both countries. So this is why they're freaking out, ladies and gentlemen. Right now we're uncovering the fact that they were basically paying or being paid by foreign actors in order to sell their offices and sell their positions of power to the highest bidder. And the biggest problem here for, I think, Joe Biden and his son is that we have all the evidence. President Trump's just waiting and dripping it out little by little, and that makes them squirm and it makes them panic, and it leads to things like this. James Comey's latest story from the New York Times, where they do an expose on James Comey and his life, and now how his whole life is about getting Donald Trump out of office. Well, I wonder why a former FBI director would devote his life to trying to remove the man who's exposing the corruption which he himself was involved with during his tenure in office. I mean, these things are so obvious, but when you read this story, it's the most disgusting piece of filth I've ever read in my life, almost, because the fake news reporter at the New York Times is just fawning over the majestic and wonderful James Comey, who is he needs to get back in it to go after Trump to keep him from becoming president. It's a joke. The whole organization, the New York Times, is a joke. So is the Washington Post and the rest of these fake news clowns. But we're going to read about this. He's apparently James Comey. His life involves doing pull-ups and contemplating how to get President Trump removed from office. Now, what's funny about this is that it reminds me of some movie scene where the guy goes to prison, and he's just doing pull-ups, and he's got a poster on his wall, and he's staring at it, and he's just plotting his revenge against the guy who exposed his crimes, so that one day, if he ever gets out of prison, he'll go and take revenge. That's what James Comey reminds me of right now. And it's pretty scary that this was a former FBI director. And this is the part of the story that I think is important right here, where it says what he's doing exactly is not entirely clear, even to him. So James Comey doesn't even know what he's doing, but he's doing it. Rather than proceed with the standard arc of an erstwhile intelligence leader, think tanks, corporate boards, studied political silence, Mr. Comey has pledged to spend the next 13 months working to drive Trump from power. Well, there's some disturbing things about this story. First of all, there is a picture here, right, of him in this room. Now, these toys here are Star Wars toys, okay? I'm going to connect some dots for you guys that were connected by some other Anons and people on Twitter and others who have pointed out that this may be another one of Comey's veiled threats. See, the New York Times, these people are just as criminal. In my opinion, there needs to be investigations into the fake news reporters at the New York Times and at the Washington Post, because if they're helping facilitate James Comey make these veiled threats, I mean, what else are they actually doing behind closed doors? That's really an important thing we need to look at closely, I think, very closely. But let's just take a few things into account. You guys remember this tweet? Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner with their son in the Star Wars outfit. Well, let me think about this. Or let me put this to you. We have James Comey that just came out today with this tweet, talking about this picture, somebody was commenting, I guess, or something, but this came out of the blue. It says, "Those are my 7-year-old godson's Star Wars toys. We promised not to take them down, and they are awesome anyway." Now, we all know, Q has alluded to the past, that these criminals, like James Comey, in my humble opinion, use Twitter to basically hide their messages in plain sight, meaning they put up tweets publicly with hidden messages for their deep state criminal partners and or veiled threats against others who are fighting against them, white hats. But somebody pointed out something very interesting. We're talking about Star Wars toys. We're talking about this Star Wars picture with Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. And somebody points out something very fascinating. There were these Q posts, right? If you'll recall, which say, there are a few things, right? It says, "Remember this important fact." This is from March 2019. "Adam Schiff is part of the Gang of 8 intel. It will become critical once Gang of 8 material is declassified. Logical question: if Adam Schiff knew everything he's investigating and stating publicly to be knowingly false, why then would he take the course of action ongoing? Did Adam Schiff purposely deceive the American public, thinking the Gang of 8 material and other classified documentation would never reach the public domain? What insurance did they hang over POTUS's head in order to prevent action? A father's love for his children knows no bounds." So we all know that President Trump and his family have been in the middle of one of the most incredible times our country has ever seen, especially given the fact that they are right now actively being fought by the deep state, and we know that the deep state will go as far as they need to defeat President Trump. Luckily, we're always a few steps ahead of them, and we are actually winning this war as it is happening. But with that in mind, remember that they threaten not only President Trump, but his family as well. And when you think about that, it reminds me of this other Q post that somebody else brought up, saying, "What would happen if texts originating from an FBI agent to several internals discussed the assassination possibility of the POTUS or members of his family?" Do you guys see what's happening here? Now, I'm not going to put all the dots together for you. I'm just going to say, is it strange that James Comey writes an op-ed about how he's going to take down Trump, or he has a piece written about him, an expose, or not, like a fluff piece that's written about him. But what's interesting about this is that obviously we know the New York Times are the biggest fake news liars who are trying to destroy this country with their fake reporting and their fake news, and they're in bed with the deep state. Most of them just basically will do whatever the deep state wants, and Comey is obviously a part of that deep state. Now, think about this. Do you think there might have been some type of veiled threat in all of this? Do you think possibly it's possible that what James Comey is saying with this tweet, as was pointed out by some other individuals, that the Star Wars toys and take them down, not to take them down, are they going to go after President Trump's family is what I'm asking. And is this a threat against President Trump's family, his daughter Ivanka's son and Jared Kushner's son? I'm just asking the question. That's for you guys to tell me, but James Comey making these cryptic tweets, he knows, we all know what he's doing, even if nobody wants to really admit it, in the fake news media. We all know what this is. So you sick, lying, lowlife James Comey, you need to realize that we are going to win. And trust me, I've been talking to some people, and we know what you do, and we know, and we're going to expose it little by little, and you are going to be held accountable for your crimes. Mark my words on that. But I have to ask the questions. We have to ask these questions. It's really, really important, right? So he's making this seemingly veiled threat against the president again, and the deep state is saying nothing's off limits. We're going to go after everything if you come after us. Well, I say bring it. Because we are going to take down the deep state. We're going to take down all of these criminals, and we're going to do it regardless, at whatever cost. And that's what I think they don't seem to understand. But with that being said, it goes into the next story about Jim Comey. Apparently now it's coming out, was in Australia with, guess who? Joseph Mifsud, just before he happened to have that infamous meeting now with George Papadopoulos, which basically set up the whole entire Russia hoax that was meant to take down a duly elected president. What a coincidence. Here's a theory, though, that ties a lot of this together, I think, and it's about the PG&E outage in California. And I want to share this with you real quick. It says, I've been following this for a few days, and the pieces seem to fit from many different threads. Here's my pure speculation, but grounded in quite a few facts. The White House had PG&E turn off power in Northern California. They then canvassed the entire area with helicopters with LiDAR technology that is basically like ground-penetrating radar, but it detects metal, hollows, and concrete, and especially electricity. With all legitimate electricity turned off, it was easy for them to scan below ground, quadrant by quadrant, to detect the exact locations of the tunnel systems connecting DUMBs in California to Utah and wherever else, because the tunnel still had power, which runs on their own power grid. The underground power network was being masked by the above-ground electrical network, and they mapped out the exact locations. The next day, there were 5 simultaneous explosions caught on satellite in the mountains and wastelands. My theory is the tunnel systems were collapsed and they cut off the bases from one another in key strategic locations. The power being cut to 2 million homes was absolutely necessary to pinpoint the still active electrical pathways in the tunnel system. This is war, ladies and gentlemen, and the deep state just got served a hearty defeat. Look at the facts of what has occurred recently. The military has been training for subterranean battle. Troops pulled out of Syria, and the Turks are given the go-ahead to wipe out the last vestiges of the deep state in Syria amongst the Kurds. The Chi-Coms are booted out of Long Beach Port, our second largest and most strategic shipping port. Deep state goons are being arrested and outed everywhere, from federal judges to politicians and corporate sociopaths. This is war, make no mistake. It is a war between a non-corrupted military and the NSA against the CIA and the deep state communists. It is full-on war, but the mainstream media propaganda machine will not report it, so it is a secret war being fought with technology, law, subterfuge, propaganda, blackmail, murder, and yes, bullets, bombs, and banks. Okay, so I want to share that with you because I think is an important point to look at. And what you have to remember is there are some interesting things coming out of California right now. For instance, this was a video that was put up yesterday, a couple days ago, and it is of a guy who's basically walking in California and in Saddle Ridge that notices that the underground sewer's on fire. A massive fire and smoke coming out of the underground sewer. Maybe there is something more to this. Now remember also, these power outages are right near an area in California called Sonoma County. That's where most of these are in. Now don't forget, it has been reported that John Podesta and many other of these deep state connected people have mansions all next to each other out there in the middle of Sonoma County there. And suspiciously enough, there may have been some other connections to different things that we're not going to get into right now because for time. But just remember this. We can dig deeper into this, but if everything that we're putting together seems to make sense, we need to dig deeper on why this is happening and what is being destroyed. Why would they cut the power off? These are really important questions. They're questions that need to be asked. Does that mean that this is right or wrong? Well, that's up to you guys. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm asking you to look at this with me, simply put. So I just keep thinking that there's much more to what's going on right now. And that brings me right into my final point. I was just at the American Priority Conference this week, and it was an amazing time. Got to see people like Donald Trump Jr. speak. I got to see people like Charlie Kirk from TPUSA speak. I got to see people like Matt Gaetz speak. I got to see all types of different individuals show up and contribute incredible information. And I got to meet a bunch of different social media people who are actually in the middle of the same kind of fight I think we're all in as far as censorship and the way they're trying to attack our rights and engage in tortious interference against our ability to interact with third parties through these big social media platforms and so on. But a few things that stood out to me, and I'm going to cover this a little bit more later. I have a lot of the content that I'm working on. I'm going to try to get posting it, but it's hard to get a lot of this done while you're on the road, away from your ability to really get in the studio and do all the stuff. But I'm going to put it this way. The best part was listening to Donald Trump Jr.'s speech. I think it was great. It was an incredible, informative speech. It basically highlights everything you need to know about what's going on right now as far as Hunter Biden and social media, and how he basically talks about how they're censoring him even. And I think that, to everybody who was there, who I saw you, thank you for all your kind words, all your support. It was so nice to meet all you guys. I'm going to try to get on my Twitter and put a lot of this stuff out on the social media as far as just clips and stuff. It's great to go there and meet with everyone. Tom Fitton, the Google whistleblower, Zach Voorhees, Eric Cochran from Pinterest, the Project Veritas guys. And speaking of Project Veritas, there's a big drop tomorrow, I think, about CNN. We have an insider who's going to put out, hundreds of hours of secretly recorded conversations. And so, to everybody who was there, it was such a blessing to meet you. We'll be in touch, I'm sure, again soon. And I'm going to try to get some of that content up. But if you guys couldn't make it, I really hope you make it next year. It's probably just going to get bigger and bigger. I feel like this conference is going to end up replacing CPAC, or at least being its rival. And what an incredible event. That's what I'll say. I had a great interaction with Donald Jr. I walked up to him, and I got right in front of him, and I said, I shook his hand, and I said, "Where we go one, we go all." And he just looked at me and said, "Thank you, I appreciate that." And so they know exactly what's going on. There was a few people there who had Q stuff, but I was pretty much the only one there with maybe one or two other people who were doing the Q thing hardcore. I had my Q pin. I had some friends I've met. Let's put it this way, guys. I've got great sources, and I'm meeting a lot of people who are really close to what's going on with 8chan. 8chan's going to be coming back up. I'm working with people really close with Jim Watkins and really close with others, and I can tell you right now, they are going to get the site back up and going, and we're going to get this all back. It's going to be coming back under the name 8kun, 8, the number 8, KUN.org, I think. And that's going to be the new iteration of 8chan. But, the plan is going right now. And remember, Operation Red October is active. And we're going to continue to expose this stuff. And I was able at this conference to meet a lot of people and do a lot of networking with people close to what's going on. So trust me when I say this, at least. Everything is happening as we speak. That's why Q is dark, because the operations are taking place. That's the best way I can put it together, and I think that's what makes sense the most to me. So I hope that helps you guys out there. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say that's where we're going to leave it. A few more things before we go. Obviously, come here, watch these last few videos, share them on your social media, get the word out that way. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below. I want to hear what you guys have to think about all of this. A few other ways you can help. Come be brave. Download the Brave browser. It blocks ads. It makes your internet experience that much better, and you support the channel when you do it. So it's a win-win, and I hope you guys go and download it using the link in the description. And I want you to try it out and let me know what you think. It's an internet browser, so you download it, you install it, and then you run it just like you would any other internet browser, like Mozilla Firefox or Chrome or Internet Explorer. It works the exact same way, except it blocks the ads and it makes your internet experience that much better. A couple of the ways, come find me over here on Twitter at JUSTINFORMED. We can have a conversation outside the channel where you can get all my funny, great tweets. And I'm going to be posting a lot of the content from the American Priority Conference that I've been getting over the last few days there as well. Also, don't forget to check out JustinformedNews.com, the official website for Just Informed Talk, where you get links to the Q stuff, links to the different news websites, breaking news, and of course the latest videos from the channel here. That's JustinformedNews.com. Don't forget also to check out, if you want to help out the channel financially, there's Patreon, patreon.com. It's a crowdfunding website. Your donation keeps this channel alive. You come here and you click the Become a Patron button. It's a monthly donation. You set it and forget it. I know you're helping create content on this channel. I'm so thankful for your help and support. I also have a GoFundMe set up if you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation. So please check out that. Links to that will be in the description. Links to everything will be in the description. And I want to thank you. Now, before we go, we do a segment at the end of each one of these episodes called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. Today, I want to share a verse out of the book of Psalms, Psalm 20. It's verse 6 through 9. And I just want to remind us about the battle that we're in, how we win this battle, right? And I'm going to share with you how we do that. It says, "Now I know the Lord gives victory to his anointed. He will answer him from his holy heaven with mighty victories from his right hand. Some take pride in a chariot, and others in horses, but we take pride in the name of the Lord our God. They collapse and fall, but we rise and stand firm. Lord, give victory to the King. May he answer us on the day that we call." Now, I want us to remember that what it says there is an important message, I think, for us all. And given everything that I went through today, I've had a lot of stuff happen today that you guys will probably figure out later and see about it later, because I'm working with some other projects that I can't really talk about, but let's just put it this way. I'm working with some other creative projects about Q and what's going on. And these are going to be big projects. These are going to be, really big projects that you guys are going to see coming up. And I'll give you more details as we get further along, but I've been working on them for over a year now. So what I've seen here at this conference is that there are those out there who believe that by taking pride in their chariots and their horses, it means that their armies and their power and their money, that they're somehow going to win and they're going to defeat us. But never forget, we take pride in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And that is how we take the ultimate victory. And we will. And we just have to believe in Christ, put Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit at the forefront of everything we do. And we ask them to help us become better, more righteous, stronger, and to overcome what is, or to overcome and win the battles that we are facing. So I want you guys to remember that, and I'm going to say thank you guys for watching. That's going to go ahead and wrap it up for me, and take that message to your family, friends, and loved ones. Remind them that we're all in this together and that we win by putting our faith in God first. So again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications, and hit it, punch it, tap it, clip it, clap it. I don't know. Whatever. Hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. That's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching this episode of Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.